Scarlet and Violet introduced one of the largest rosters of new Pokemon. It'd be a shame if we had to wait 10 years for them to revisit and build upon designs like Tinkaton, Scovillain, or Baxcalibur. What's up everyone, it's Dusty Gogo, welcome back to my headcanon. Every single year we get a new Pokemon game, and with that, new Pokemon designs. But over the years, Game Freak has been leaning more and more into forms and variations of monsters from previous generations. And I've got no hate for Kanto, but please Game Freak, the next time we get regional forms, battle forms, or whatever new gimmick they roll out, I want the attention to be on new Pokemon. So today, let's focus on Generation 9. Before we get started, I want to tell you about today's sponsor, Surfshark VPN. When I'm not playing Pokemon, I'm outside traveling. However, some of the most beautiful places to adventure don't have enough data or connection. Usually I can find public Wi-Fi, but to be honest, I don't know if it's safe. Thankfully, Surfshark provides a solution to this issue. Surfshark is a VPN which protects your data by establishing a secure connection between you and the internet. With a VPN, all of your data traffic is routed through an encrypted tunnel. This disguises your IP address and makes its location invisible to everyone. I mean, this is so cool. It sounds like a Pokedex description. The main reason why I've been using Surfshark is that it allows me to have access to region-locked games and features. If you play Pokemon Go, there's GPS spoofing on Android, and even when I'm away from home, I'm still trying to get access to safe internet. Whether I'm watching YouTube videos, downloading podcasts, or managing sensitive files in my Google Drive, Surfshark VPN allows me to be safe and confident that my data is protected. Purchasing a 24-month VPN plan is seriously one of the best options you can find on the internet. If you use my link in the description, you can get 83% off and 3 months free. If you're not totally satisfied, they have a 30-day money-back guarantee, so there's no risk and really no reason not to click the link in the description. Thank you, Surfshark, for sponsoring this video. And now let me tell you about these incredible regional forms for the Paldean starters. I will say this trio is one of the best of all time. Pokemon Legends Arceus has opened up the possibilities of starter Pokemon getting new regional forms. Let's say we get another Legends Arceus style game. We'll call it Legends Paldea. Who knows? Let's say back in the day, the 3 Paldean starters will evolve to get a new set of typing. I love seeing Skeledirge with this fire water type. It now has blue flames to suggest that it's even hotter, but the blue flames are also a symbol of this Pokemon being the water type. And alligators live in the water, obviously, so I think this would be a really cool type combination, especially as a starter. To see one of the starters get one of the other elemental types is really great. We've got Quaxquaval over here now becoming a fairy type. The artist has deliberately given this new Quaxquaval design a kimono look, so now it would be one of those kimono dancers. Maybe this actually fits a Legends Johto game a little bit better. And this grass and steel type Meowscarada, rather than its tricks focusing on illusions, it instead focuses on knife tricks. I love how the artist takes inspiration from the saber-toothed tiger and gives it these metal fangs as well as claws. And it's got much more of a woolly coat. I'm seeing a lot of similarities here with Galarian Meowth. One of my favorite Pokemon in Generation 9 is Tandemaus, as well as its evolution, Mousehold. Tandemaus has 2 different evolutionary forms, focusing on the amount of children that it has. What if the 3-family Mousehold evolved again into a normal and dark type Pokemon called Mouse Spoiled? This art depicts the single mouse basically becoming the stereotype of a spoiled only child. The singular mouse gets huge, right? Basically carrying its parents. The parents look miserable. The child looks angry. This design makes me laugh so much. The child just eats all day and throws its parents at the opponent, assuming this would be in battle. Tandemaus and Mousehold are adorable designs, but I do feel like something like this could add a lot to the Pokemon line. Alternatively, I could see there being a regional Mousehold or Tandemaus. This artist depicted Tandemaus as a poison type Pokemon. You know, mice typically are associated with disease. I believe this design takes inspiration from the Rat King myth, where basically 2 mice get their tails tied together, which is already kind of what we see with Tandemaus. But then basically what happens is, as this Pokemon evolves, it's honestly kind of dark and gruesome, but one of them just keeps collecting all these dead mice, right? And when it gets this regional evolution, Mouse King, it actually gains the ghost type. This mouse has longer whiskers. It's got 2 earrings to make it look kind of tough. It's got these beady, glowing yellow eyes and a chewed off ear, and it's standing on the bodies of all of these Tandemaus that have passed on. Pretty dark design. I also like that this deviates away from the normal typing. Charcadet and its evolutions is another great line that was introduced in Generation 9. I always saw a lot of similarities between Charcadet and Pokemon like Tyrogue. I actually don't even know why Charcadet is not a baby Pokemon. I would love to see Charcadet get additional evolutions that vary in typing. We obviously got Ceruledge and Armarouge, which are Ghost and Psychic type respectively. They keep the fire typing, but I would love to see additional evolutions. Maybe we have a fire and steel type. This one could be called Babarod. There's also Tsunami, which would be another fire and water type Pokemon. I think this is so cool. There's a lot of similarities here. I feel like this design was based on the Clauncher line, but maybe that's actually how it evolves. Maybe similar to the armor that Ceruledge and Armarouge need in order to evolve, right? They get those armors from Pokemon. Maybe you need to collect the shell armor of Clauncher and its evolution in order to evolve this Pokemon. This thing looks like Mega Man, or it looks like a Yu-Gi-Oh type hero creature. I think it's super cool. And then we also have Kunite. Kunite would be fire and dark type, which plays with these floating kunai, which are like ninja daggers. These Pokemon are so cool. We need more. I want more armored based combat Pokemon. These like swordsman type Pokemon are so cool. Now we've got a Pokemon that a lot of people originally said either shouldn't have an evolution or its evolution is a little bit redundant. This Pokemon by Mr. DJ Walnut, Brambleghast, would be an evolution for either Bramble or Brambleghast. I do see it more as maybe a held item evolution where Brambleghast evolves into this thing. I like that it keeps the shape. Like, this is what a lot of Pokemon designs do, right? They take one element of the previous form and reinterpret it, or use the shape or silhouette or color, right, in another part of the final evolution's body. It doesn't just grow bigger, but the design elements are used in different ways. So you can see like the formation of its head of this like twister dust buster. It's like a dusty ghost, but the head of it is made up of what Brambleghast looks like. But then you can also see all these different Brambleghast shapes throughout its body, creating the silhouette of its body. Its hands are basically what the same type of plant material that Bramblin is based on. I think this is a really great design. If something like this was introduced, 100% I would use it on my team. These are the kind of designs that felt missing from the Paldean decks. This next design we have is a cross-gen evolution for Tadbulb. Tadbulb is the Generation 9 Tadpole Pokemon. It's electric type and it evolves into Bellibolt. But what if Tadbulb could evolve into a zombie? This is Zombolt. It's an electric and ghost type Pokemon. I love that it is the exact opposite of Bellibolt. Bellibolt is a lively, energetic, plump frog Pokemon. Zombolt is the exact opposite. It's got a very neutral emotion. Its anatomy resembles a skeleton. And I feel like the play here is that Zombolt is a dead battery. If this whole line is about electricity, what if you don't have that power anymore? What would happen to the Pokemon? Well, it dies. I also like that it can inflate its arms. That same like plasma ball look matches the original Bellibolt's belly. I'm gonna throw this next one in. Definitely not needed. I mentioned baby Pokemon earlier. I feel like we're missing. I feel like there should be more baby Pokemon. Baby Pokemon kind of are Dex filler, but I feel like there are some standalone single stage Pokemon that could have some pretty adorable preforms. This is Flamingo, which I'm pretty sure means baby in Spanish. Flamingo is just a flying type, and then when it evolves into Flamigo, which is obviously flying and fighting type. This design is really great because it doesn't just look like a small Flamigo, it actually has its own color palette. It takes the rubbery knot around Flamigo's neck and creates a new design element to make this baby form look as if it can't swim, which is true, right? Babies can't swim. Even this baby Flamingo can't swim. So you can see right here, Flamingo is just floating behind its parent. And once it finally evolves, it's then tall enough to no longer need the floaty because it can just stand. If Game Freak is listening, I really do want more baby Pokemon. The only baby Pokemon that we got in the last like 15 years was Toxel in Generation 8. All right, Scovillain is next. There's been a lot of talk online that Scovillain seems to be completely unfinished. It seems to be an unfinished design. I think a lot of people are drawing comparisons between Scovillain, Doduo, Zweilous, and a lot of other 2- and 3-headed Pokemon. Capsakid, the little pepper seed, evolves into Scovillain with 2 heads, but I think there's a lot of potential. There's been a lot of designs online, Fakemon designs, that depict Scovillain with multiple heads, multiple colored pepper heads. Scovillain isn't as powerful as it could be. It's only a 2-stage form. Grass and Fire is such an awesome type, and I love Scovillain. I think it's an excellent design, but I think there's untapped potential. One option is to make Scovillain evolve for a 3rd time, give it the 3 heads, maybe an orange or a yellow pepper head, and that one can have a little bit different of a personality. I like the idea of Scovillain getting so big and powerful that it's forced to fall over on 4 legs, basically. It becomes a quadruped. This would make the design look a lot more beastly and powerful looking. Like all of a sudden this Kappa now resembles more of a dinosaur or a dragon. That would, I mean, I think this design right here is excellent. I've seen a couple other designs. Here's one by my friend, Professor Corey. I think another option is to give Scovillain new regional forms or convergent forms. Scovillain is a spicy pepper Pokemon, but there are a lot of fruits and vegetables that this thing could be based on. I think very easily Scovillain could be reimagined as a lemon and lime Pokemon. Lemon and lime are paired together, they're both citrus, and I think it works too perfect, right? You could make this Pokemon grass and electric type, which mirrors the green and yellow color. Truthfully, I think this Pokemon would actually just be a key lime, because key limes are either green or yellow depending on how ripe they really are. You could even give Capsakid a regional form while you're at it and have it evolve into this new Scovillain with a Thunderstone. And then what if you were to cool off Scovillain, right? Make it a grass and ice type. What would that look like? I think it would look like this Pokemon right here. Its leaves now resemble a scarf. It kind of looks like a candy cane. The pink and green kind of look like Christmas colors. And you can even classify this cold Scovillain as the chili pepper Pokemon. Well, what if Gimmeghoul was this little gingerbread insect little creature, right? Gimmeghoul is already pretty weird. Make it a fairy and ghost type, right? And instead of collecting gold coins, it actually goes around and collects chocolate gold coins. Instead of a gold chest, it hangs out in this little candy bag. I think this is so cute. Its antenna look like candy canes. And yeah, like I said, it looks like a gingerbread man. And instead of hoarding all of the gold coins, it actually eats all of the gold coins. And it becomes this overly stuffed Pokemon that looks like it's made of chocolate. I think we've all been there and can relate to this Pokemon. Again, the contrast to the original Gholdengo design is great. Rather than being this slender surfer Pokemon, this thing looks like it'd be a lot more tanky. I also love the fairy and ghost type. I know that's a good type competitively. Fido is an interesting Pokemon. I love that they've been continuing to add food-based fairy type Pokemon. And when this Pokemon was introduced, there was a lot of speculation about how it would evolve. Obviously, a Pokemon based on dough would need heat to cook and then finally evolve. We really didn't see any of that in the final game, but I do think there's possibility for us to get a regional form. Make Fido a fairy and fire type. This regional form is based off of a Churro. This regional Fido gets a new regional evolution into Churover. This Pokemon is based on a completely different dog. It's a lot more slender. You can see at the tip of its tail and its ears, there is steam releasing from the inside of this bread. Churover is a little bit of a goofy dog. We got a lot of goofy dogs in Generation 9, but I really like the regional variation that we see in even Fido. Cetoddle and Cetitan are very weird because their whole concept is based on a land whale. Well, what happens if you take that land whale and you put it back in the water? Obviously, it becomes water type. I think this Pokemon could have remained as an ice type, or maybe they could give it steel typing. Water steel type would be very good. This Pokemon is naturally bulky. This new regional Cetoddle would evolve with a water stone. This is another design that I think could exist or be conceptualized to fit within the Paldean region in a different time period. What if the Tinkaton line didn't have access to modern metal crafting, right? I guess if there was no access to Corviknight, this Pokemon wouldn't be able to get any of these metal scraps, and it would have to rely on different minerals in order to make its weapons. This Pokemon looks as if it's using rocks, but I think what this actually is it's using bones. This Pokemon's using bones. So the rock type is really a reference to fossilization. This Pokemon is fairy rock type, so it keeps the fairy type. And this shade of blue or turquoise reminds me of ice. So I'm getting the idea that these Pokemon would exist in some sort of ice age or post-ice age, where the Paldean region is very, very cold, and they collect the bones of Pokemon to make their weapons, jewelry, and crown. All right, next we have a regional form for Flittle and Espathra. I think Flittle and Espathra are deliberately based on ostriches, on ostrich chicks, but I do think they have a lot of design elements that look more like underwater sea life, like squids, octopus. And because they're on land, I honestly get a huge alien vibe from these Pokemon. It actually has eyelashes. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a bird with eyelashes. And Espathra has a wig. Have you ever seen a bird with hair? My main theory is that while these Pokemon are based on ostriches and other large birds, I feel like that outward design is really a decoy. Think of Wobbuffet, right? The theory around Wobbuffet is that the big blue blob, the main body of Wobbuffet, is really just a decoy for the tail, which is really just its shadow. This regional form for Espathra and Flittle kind of helped conceptualize my theory and my thought process when it comes to this Pokemon. This regional form is pure ghost type, and this regional Flittle evolves into a Pokemon called Fledged. This form of Espathra looks more like a ghost, right? The tail feathers, the ribbons, the quote-unquote feathers of Espathra now look like your classic white ghost. And the true form, the true head of this Pokemon is its tail. You can see this tail lashing out from behind. It looks like the beak and the skull of a dead bird. You'll have to let me know which of these are your favorite designs in the comments. Make sure to subscribe if you're still watching. And if you haven't yet, check out the link in the description to learn more about Surfshark VPN. It directly supports me and the channel. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and good luck hunting.